Bust it.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Political Platform on Reaper FM, this time live and later on in the evening. So good evening if you're watching in the evening. My name is Amechi Anapwe. It's quite interesting. Some interesting, some will say sad, some others will say dangerous development this morning in the nation's capital. Security operatives have cordoned off the residence of the Senate President Bukola Saraki and that of his Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu in Abuja. Of course, it followed the invitation of the Senate President by the police to report at the first Special Anti-Robbery Squad office in Guzape, district of Asokoro, over his alleged involvement in the bank robbery. And of course, we're also hearing that heavy security at the National Assembly complex. It's going to be more developments, if you ask me. It appears some are alleging that attempts by the RAPC to formally leave that party today to indeed fuse with the PDP is behind all this. But we'll wait to hear from the security agencies why they have taken this action. We'll be speaking with the camp of the Senate President, the camp of the Deputy Senate President, and our reporters in the National Assembly and at the first SARS office, Federal SARS office in Abuja, here to update you on these events as they happen. My colleagues are here with me. Adebayo Bodere, welcome to Political Platform.
Thank you, Amici. And it's the development that we have to watch out for. It's no longer strange these days when you hear of invasion of houses and offices and the rest. But I think Nigerians need to have information. Every action taken, there is a necessity to explain to people so that we know why certain actions are taken. But when you keep people guessing, it gives room to wide speculation and it may not be healthy. But I think this matter will be handled very well, and the public deserve the right to know why the homes of the number one and number two citizen in the Senate were invaded very early hours of today. And they're still talking on security issue. I'm at pains. I'm at pains when I learned that a very, very elegant intellectual was among those killed on Abuja Kaduna Expressway on Sunday. She was, if you have had contact with her, I have contact with her as a reporter when she was serving as Commissioner for Education in Katsina State. You will see her depth, you will see her love, her patriotism for Nigeria as a nation. And she was killed in the presence of her husband by bandits. And it's so terrible that these days it's increasingly very, very difficult to travel from Abuja to Kaduna.
Four others were also killed.
Four others were killed. 5 are still in National Hospital. And the woman, Professor Halimatu Sadia Idris, is gone. In the presence of her husband, she was shot. And it's so sad. These days, the issue of Kaduna-Abuja Expressway that has become increasingly unsafe for people to travel, it's not new.
Okay.
But I think more actions need to be taken to ensure that we halt this trend where Nigerians can no longer move freely in their country. It's a very, very sad development. And from Osun State, it does seem as if the election is every day you now see, because the election is drawing nearer and nearer. And yesterday, the secretary of the government resigned from his position and defected to another party and quickly pick the ticket of that party. That's Moshood Adeoti. You know, he was
now in ADC.
Now in ADP.
ADP.
You know, he was one Action Democratic Party. He was one of those who the 17 people seeking the ticket of APC, and he withdrew 24 hours to the primaries.
Okay, Ijoma Sama, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Amici. At times, people just wonder if the world is coming to an end, because if you are living in Nigeria, the kind of things you hear of and see, especially when it concerns security matters, you just start wondering, is the world getting to an end? Just this morning, and I heard the news of the Deputy Senate President and the Senate President too. I was wondering, where are we going to? In my years, ever since I was born in Nigeria, maybe when I started thinking like an adult, I have not seen this kind of attack on even a government official. I think the security agencies should use a kind of decorum. If you want to invite them, you invite them quietly, not going to their house as if you are going there to invade the house of a terrorist. I don't think it's good for our democracy. I don't think so. I think the government needs to do something about this so that we don't always see Nigeria in the books of history in the whole world. If you go to CNN now, it's breaking. If you go to BBC, it's breaking, as if something terribly is happening in this country. We just have to be careful.
Shola Jasimi, welcome also to the program.
Well, not good signs, one would definitely say, because of the reports we're getting this morning, which yourself, you've also alluded to. For the nation's number 3 and number 5 citizens to be treated like this, number 3 and number 5, yes, to be number 6 rather, to be treated like this, it's not the way it ought to be. And this is because, even if Senate President Bukola Saraki and Senator Ike Ekweremadu have no immunity, even if they don't, because they do not, I think courtesy and respect for the office they hold should be what law enforcement should follow through on. You've extended an invitation to both, actually Senator Saraki, over the robbery in Offa. Why not just hold on? He will come to you and make submissions on what the issues are. So clearly, it seems there's too much politics around the criminal justice system, if one will call it that, and even issues that have to do with ordinary governance. It's governance that will suffer. Kaduna Abuja Expressway, this is very sad. I remember immediately, the airport in Abuja, the runway was to be, resurfaced, redone. The IG deployed special squad to that road. 100, we saw them patrolling. But now, the runway is back. Okay. The common people are going on the road.
Yes, and those deaths are happening. Ujueje completes our number.
I think that it's a very, very sad development that the authorities have thrown decorum to the wind. I do not like what is happening, a situation where the country's democracy is almost being threatened. We have a number 3 and number 5, number 3 citizen and his number 5 counterpart, who are presiding officers, chief presiding officers of a very, very vital and strong arm of government, and which is the only one that actually makes a government a democratic government. And then you're treating them like this. There are better ways of doing things. You went into talks with them over at RAPC, maybe because you got wind that they're going the other way, and then suddenly the issue that had been abandoned is resurfaces, and then they are being hounded like common criminals, whereas every day in Taraba State, in Plateau State, in Benue State, in Adamawa and Yobe states, Nigerians are being slaughtered, and the same authorities cannot rise to the occasion.
Okay, let's bring in our people now. All the promises, all the interviews we promised, we have from the camp of the Deputy Senate President, Uche Anichukwu, who is the spokesperson of the Deputy Senate President. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, good morning.
What's the situation? What's happening at the residence of the Deputy Senate President, and where is it? What is happening to Ike Ekweremadu?
What is happening now is that at just before 6 a.m. This morning, men of the Nigeria Police Force and operatives of the EFCC, in their numbers, besieged, laid siege to, surrounded, barricaded the environs of the Deputy President of the Senate, his residence at Apple quarters. No one is going in, no one is coming out.
So they have prevented people from leaving the residence or having access to it.
The entire street is blockaded. There is no going out or coming in.
Did they give any reason as to why they are carrying out this action?
Even starting from the Apple quarters main gate.
Did they offer any explanation over the action?
They haven't offered any formal explanation, but some of the operatives said that the Deputy President of the Senate, they wrote a letter that he should report at the EFCC office at 10 a.m. this morning. But that's laughable because there was no such invitation. He is a very law-abiding citizen. If he had such an invitation, he would have honored it. And now they said 10 a.m. this morning. But before 6 a.m., they had already barricaded the entire place, message to the house, like they were linked it to the house of a common criminal.
So you said the Deputy Senate President did not receive any letter from the EFCC asking him to report?
No such thing, no such invitation, not.
Have you been able to speak with him this morning? Have you been able to reach him this morning?
I can't even reach him. No one knows what is happening to him now.
Do you have fears about his safety and well-being?
Well, when operatives of the state surround your entire house, both the back of the house, the entirety of the environment, and lay siege to it, and you cannot access your principal to even know what is happening to him, then we have cause to worry. Because you recall the President of the Senate was actually invited by the police to their office this morning. So, ordinarily, the Deputy President of the Senate is supposed to be presiding. So, if you are not allowing if the Senate President will not be available to preside, and you are not allowing his deputy to go and preside over the Senate, over the affairs of the nation, what you make up your mind what is going on?
The number 3 man in the Senate should be the Senate leader.
Well, I don't know. What I know is that when the Senate President is not there, the President of the Senate.
All right. We'll have to thank you so much.
And as I'm talking to you now, they're still laying siege to the entire vicinity.
Thank you so much, Uche Anichukwu, a spokesperson to the Deputy Senate President.
And you wonder why both of them at the same time.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll have to leave you now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, very interesting times when the Senate President is not around, and we don't know maybe probably when we speak with Olani Onu, we know where the Senate President is, and we know whether what will happen in the National Assembly today. Against the background of, it's not the first time that you see heavy security presence in National Assembly, but when the thing is happening simultaneously, you start asking questions, and you cannot, in the realm of guessing, you now start guessing whether it is actually a bold move or whether it is a political decision.
And last night, we also heard that the chairman of RAPC, Buba Galadima, his vehicle was involved in an accident on its way back from Yobe State. Those are, I don't know, maybe it's an accident.
Well, he survived it.
Yes.
He survived it.
Sport utility vehicles several times.
Too many things happening at the same time. And these are very, very fearful. I'm really worried about this country.
Let's go back to the National Assembly. Our correspondent, Omo Obazwaye, is on ground. Omo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amechi.
What's the situation in the National Assembly?
Well, there's a strange calmness all around the National Assembly, particularly the Senate building. You could see an unusual number of security officers, particularly policemen all around, and also officers of Department of the State Service, the DSS. On the hallway, you find them, you see them on the corridor, you see them also in the gallery. They're just kind of everywhere, and it's a kind of indication that following what we woke up this morning to hear concerning the residents of the two presiding officers of the Senate, speaking about the Senate President Saraki and his deputy Kure Madu, being under siege these early hours of the day. All of what is happening clearly is kind of showing that we are in for more dramas. We are in for more dramas, particularly a kind of maybe a leadership challenge is about to happen in the chambers, Amechi.
Now, the Senate President is not there. Normally, what time does their sitting commence? What time does it normally commence?
Usually, the sitting usually starts at about exactly 10:30. Lawmakers are expected to have concluded their registration and taken their seat, so that the plenary can actually commence. But most of the time,
hello, Amo.
we've seen early arrivals. We've been seeing some unusual, very early arrivals this morning. Some of them,
who? Some senators.
Yeah, we've seen some senators coming in very early, before 9 o'clock. Some have come in, have strolling in.
Who have you seen specifically? Which senators have you seen coming early this morning?
I have cited two of them in particular. If I can even move towards the door entrance, maybe I could see some more. I saw Senator Rafiu Ibrahim from Kwara State. I saw him this early morning. He came in quite early also. I can't independently confirm this one, however, that we have seen the Senate leader also arriving very early this morning as well.
Let me ask you, as someone monitoring events in the National Assembly generally, do you have information which is being circulated around that there is a planned defection today or some days in some days to come?
Well, the issue of a planned defection has been everywhere. And about a month ago, we saw the newly elected chairman of the All Progressive Congress (APC) coming here to speak to the Senate President and some other aggrieved members of the party. In that meeting, appealing to them, in a manner also begging them not to leave the party. So clearly, and about 2 days ago also, we saw a meeting between the Senate President and or the leadership of the Senate with the President in Aso Rock. And the discussion also was about this whole matter of leaving or not leaving. And that after that meeting on 2 days ago, events like this are happening. It clearly shows that there might be something in the offing.
The Senate leader, Ahmed Lawan, is in the Senate. Now, in the absence of the Senate President and the Deputy Senate President, who presides over the sitting of the Senate?
Amechi, there cannot be a vacuum. That is one thing I understand. In my years of covering the National Assembly, I have never seen a situation where there's going to be a plenary and there'll be a vacuum. The lawmakers won't just sit down there without somebody presiding, or a presiding officer.
Is there a possibility of electing a Senate President?
If in the event that the two presiding officers, if in the event that the two presiding officers are nowhere to be found today, then we might have somebody else sitting on that position to preside.
Elected by the senators present to do that.
Yes, if they have the required number of majority votes to do so.
All right, thank you so much. We have to thank you so much and hope that if there are new developments, you quickly get across to us.
Okay.
Amici, I just hope that a major political upheaval will not arise from this. I think that no matter what, even the worst kind of democracy is more preferable to any other form of dictatorship. And people have fought for this democracy so hard. Journalists, pro-democracy activists, some never recovered from the wound and the illness that they developed while in prison for years, just so that democratic governance can come to this country. And the actors should be wary of what they are trying to do this to this country. The country has been going through loads and loads of challenges that a lot of people are trying so hard
let's
to
take
help
a break.
overcome.
When we come back, we take you to the place the Senate President was supposed to report this morning, the Special Anti-Robbery Office in Abuja, just about 4 kilometers from our station here. Our correspondent is on ground and will be filling us with the details. But first, let's take the break. Thank you so much for remaining with us. Adaon Onye is our correspondent in the covering the police, and she is at the Special Anti-Robbery Squad Office in Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amici. I'm here at Buzate at the Office of the Intelligence Response Team, led by Abakari. Although it's raining now, but we've been here since 7:45 so that we can get a clip of the arrival of the Senate President. But as it is, it has not arrived. It's raining heavily here. Both the police officers who were at the entrance of the complex and the media people have shifted to avoid the rain. Although the kingsmen of the Senate President are also here and they're expecting him to be here anytime soon. So I don't know why he has not come before the rain, whether it's the rain or it's for another reason. But as it is, everywhere is calm. I'm still expecting him.
What's the security like there? Is it the normal atmosphere or is it heightened?
No, it's not heightened. The security here is normal, except for a handful of, combination of special forces.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll have to thank you so much, Ada Ononye, for your time. We'll take our mails now and we'll make attempts to reach the Senate President camp after the mails.
Thank you for joining us on the mail segment. I am Ife Nwanwobi.
I'm Tenikan Akipu. You're welcome.
Let's start with the mail coming from Elisha, who writes from Kubwa in Abuja, and he says, the APC national chairman is beginning to act like he owns the party just few weeks off his resumption into office. Does he really have the party at heart? In this period of looming mass defections, he still threatens to sanction, discipline, and do what even the president will not do in times like this. Someone should please advise him that it's reconciliation time and not disciplinary time. Buhari took 6 months to appoint his ministers. The board he's pressuring on took the president months to appoint them, and yet no one called for his suspension or resignation. Another mistake looming in the air with Oshomole's comment, and must be quickly checkmated, else he will by his hand push the honorable minister out or probably have a rethink of joining the RAPC. I wish him well.
That's the much you can bring your way on the mail segment. Keep sending your mails to political platform at raypower.fm.
Thank you so much for the mails. Let's welcome Yusuf Olaniyan, the spokesperson of the Senate President. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Amechi. Good morning and good morning to all the listeners of the Raypower.
So what can you tell us? What has been happening since early this morning?
Well, since around some minutes after 6 a.m. this morning, some of my colleagues who definitely are in the security team and are always around the Senate President called and said there's a new development too. And I said, what was it all about? He said his house and even the guest house, both in Maitama, have been surrounded by the police. That the gates have been blocked, and his movement will be very difficult. Then, about 6:30, one of them sent me pictures of his convoy being blocked by police vehicles.
That his convoy wanted to leave the residence?
And leave exactly the residence. Exactly.
And the police team outside prevented that from happening?
Yes, for them from happening. So now, since then, I've been trying to get him. I cannot get him on phone. Even some of my colleagues who have tried cannot also get him on phone. So as we are talking, his whereabouts is unknown to us. And
so you can ascertain whether the Senate President is still in his residence?
I cannot now because I don't have the normal channel of communication now is blocked. that I use in communicating with him and some of my colleagues too. So he's blocked and the phone is not even going. So that's the problem that we have now. And the more disturbing one is also that, in fact, a bigger deployment of policemen and other security agencies are in the residence of the Deputy Senate President, Senator Eke Kulumadu too. So what that means is that without the two presiding officers being available within the National Assembly complex, then the Senate cannot legally speak for any plenary.
Now, was the Senate President planning to be at the police this morning by 8 a.m. as the letter he received yesterday indicated?
He would have been there. He would have been there. I left him very early this morning, and from all the plans that I know, he would have been there this morning.
Okay. Were there about the policemen, the security men, preventing him from leaving his residence? Did they tell him why they are taking that action?
Well, we have not been able to. We don't even know who to speak with and to have official information as to why all this is happening.
Do you think he's connected with his planned defection from the APC to the PDP?
No, you see, like we stated in our statement last night, we mentioned it that we believe that even this police invitation was what we could call a preemptive measure being taken by some people in the government who believe in the speculation that there will be mass defection of senators today. And they think that if they can invite the Senate President very early in the morning today, because the letter got to him 8 p.m. yesterday, and they want him to report 8 a.m. this morning. And even in the letter, they were talking about, that they want him to make clarification on the
written statement.
Statement that because he mentioned it in his own letter to them that, yes, he was reacting, but he was only responding to the content of the letter sent to him because he had not seen the full text of the statements of the arrested suspects. So they now said, now he will have the opportunity to. We thought they would have attached that the statement or the full text of the statement to the letter they wrote yesterday, so that he can read them, digest it, get his lawyer's advice, and then address the issues this morning. But in fact, it was his own letter that was photocopied and attached to the letter. To the letter of invitation, the recent letter of invitation, not the full text of the statements of the accused of the arrested suspect. So this morning, obviously, he would have been there. And we were mentioning it in that statement that the plan was to hold him for 2 days or more, and within that period, believing that those who want to defect, some of them will even have chickened out, or some of them would have been intimidated and they won't come, and that at least the defection, the so-called mass defection planned for today, will not take place. I don't know about any mass defection anyway. I don't also know about the position of the Senate President. He has said it in an earlier statement, one that we released on Sunday, which was in the papers on Monday, that he's still consulting. He has not made up his mind that this thing goes beyond him. He's talking about Nigeria, the future of Nigeria, and he goes beyond it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Yusuf, for landing for your intervention. Thank you so much for joining us today on the program. On behalf of my colleagues and the production crew, do enjoy your day and keep your eyes open. My name is Amechiano.